Welcome to the Small Business Show. My name is Swire, the promo guy. Today we have John Fuller, Principal Designer at Phoenixfire Solutions. How are you doing, John?
Good. Thanks for having us, Ware.
Great. We had a very good conversation before about graphic design and marketing. John, would you mind to give the viewer a little bio and then your role at Phoenixfire Solutions?
Yeah. So Phoenixfire Solutions is a design firm, and the type of design that we do is something we really refer to as outcome design. So it encompasses graphic design and technology and web design and several different things. But basically, we sit down with business owners and help them figure out what their actual goals that they're trying to achieve are, and then help them build the things in between. So a lot of what I was seeing was we would have a business owner come to us and say, can you really make us a nice brochure? And yes, absolutely, we can make somebody a nice brochure. But if I asked them why they needed a brochure, they couldn't tell me. And what I was learning from that is that they don't really need a brochure. They need more customers, or they need to raise their prices, or they need to look better in the community versus their competition and those kind of things. But they were coming to us with a half-built solution based on a whole bunch of preconceived notions that just didn't really fit with what they needed to hit those outcomes.
So adding on to that question, so what would be your thinking process then? You know, if they've seen brochures in their competitors' marketing, right? So they thought that, okay, we will get a brochure also. But by talking to them, like, how would you advise them to get the right type of design and, print material that they're looking for?
Well, I mean, it's really more about taking a step back from the project a little bit and getting more clarity around those goals and what they're really trying to achieve. They may need better customer experience work to get their customers to a higher price point, if that's really what they're trying to achieve. When they're saying, man, we really just need a new brochure, they're making a lot of assumptions there. First, they're assuming the brochure will solve their problem anyway.
Yeah.
But they're also looking in there and going, oh, well, my competitor has a brochure.
Right.
So I want a brochure. But they really don't know how that competitor is doing. Like, they don't have any data around any of that. They're just guessing that competitor is doing better than they are. When truth be told, that competitor is doing the same thing that they are. They're going, I don't know what I need, so maybe I'll try a brochure. So, and it could be what they need, but they need to take that step back and figure out what it is that they're really trying to achieve, not guessing at the piece that they need in between.
Yeah, your approach is similar to what I have in promotional product. For example, people come to us, you have brochures, I have pens, everyone needs a pen, but they're popular, right? They're as popular as brochures. So they thought that every time that we need a promotional product, let's do a pen. But then I would ask them a question like, who are you giving these to? Like, who will be receiving that? And then when they tell me, then I'll ask them, do they really want a pen from you? Just like your example, do they really want to read your brochures, or do they want a folder, or do they want other print material that you might be able to do for them? So I think the key question for both of our potential client will be, who are you really targeting? How well do you know your space? And obviously, we all are aware of what our competitors are doing. But at the end, don't care about the competitor. Focus about the client that will actually buy your product and services. What are they looking for, really? And then how do we target and make sure that, obviously, with your help, visually, how do we attract those people, to come to us instead of our competitors? So that, I think, is the true question that we want to ask all our clients.
Right. And if they look in the market and everybody has a pen, and that causes them to decide they have a pen, what does that say to their customers? It says we're just like everybody else, not we're better, or we're doing these things differently, or we're the right people for you. We're normal and plain, just like everybody else.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, since COVID happened, a lot of, especially small businesses,
Mhm.
forced to shut down, and now we're going back, a step right now. So from your conversation with client, how have they adjust, graphic design and then their marketing effort? Can you share some of the conversation you have had with your clients?
Sure. So we have one client that's in the real estate space that we've done a series of digital and print pieces for that's
Mhm.
going out every door direct mail. So we're coupling that with a explainer video pieces. So in times like this with everybody, lots of people being home, every door direct mail works really well. The price point's really good for people. And that piece then references back to their digital conversations are already having. So they're recording videos or putting those things up, but we're getting the information about that in people's hands through a traditional marketing method and then
Mhm.
tying it back to their digital presence so they can get a little more data and a little further with those conversations with them. So that's something that we're doing for them. We have a client that is a performance gym. So they do small group training, which is similar to personal training, except you might be training 3 or 4 people at a time instead
Right.
of one-on-one. And what we've done for them is transferred them into a method of doing some of those things virtually. So at first, the business owner was very concerned that it wasn't going to feel right to his people. But that's not what he's seeing in actuality. People are still continuing to pay. They're not canceling their memberships. They're continuing to do these virtual classes that right now he's hosting through YouTube and doing personal check-ins with his trainers. But on top of that, the benefit he's getting from it is he's no longer territory bound. So he can do that same type of training that he would do for 3 or 4 people for 70 people. And those people don't necessarily have to live within whatever radius of his gym. They could be anywhere in the world. And so what he was first approaching is a really negative thing for him. Like, how am I going to have my gym if I can't get people physically in the space? Is going to be something that he's even looking at continuing once things start to reopen, because he's going to gain so much of a larger market opportunity out of it.
Yeah, I love this kind of story. Is if you change your thinking and you're able to pivot, whatever that business that you're in, you are
Right.
going to find more revenue sources. And story that I want to share is a restaurant. Obviously, you're physically limited to maybe 10, 15 miles even for delivery service. Maybe 15 miles, like a really far location for delivery already.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually know a contact that now they're using technology to have everything frozen, so they can now ship FedEx overnight to anywhere in the country right now. So it will be a delivering service to nationwide. Before they don't really have to do that, but now with COVID, they need to try something new. They need to look at another strategy. And I think our conversation is kind of throw a lot of stories out there, so a small business owner can think about what the situation that they're in right now. There are still opportunities out there. Are you able to find and talk to the right people so you can find the right strategies that works for you right now?
Right. And they need to have a little bit of the right mindset and not be quite so panicked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And not sit on their hands and not do anything expecting everything to just snap back to what it was, because odds are the world for a lot of these business owners tomorrow, even when we're past the COVID things, will not look the same as it did going into this. So some of the things they were doing anyway just won't make sense in the future. So they really need to look at those opportunities and where they can expand and look at it from that opportunity mindset, not something that we're being forced to do this, or this is breaking the way that I want to run my business. Like, where's the opportunities really at?
Yeah. Well, the world's always keep changing, but then for the past few months, it just shut down. You got to find something that works. If not, it's just, going to shut on you. Um, so going back to you, a question as a graphic design firm, what are the trends that you see in your industry, and how are you taking on new roles and new, services for your graphic design firm?
Right. So something I'm seeing that we're adding a lot of, and I think I think a good portion of the industry is going to move this direction, is a lot more consulting and knowledge-based things tied in with those design pieces. So not only are you producing beautiful things for people, but are they functioning properly? Are you solving the right problems for them? Are you helping that business owner get where they're really trying to go, rather than just producing the piece that they're asking for? So there seems to be a lot more consulting, a lot more training, a lot more workshops. Those kind of things are where the design industry appears to be heading to me.
Okay, that's good to know, because learning and education, having the right knowledge is always help. Knowing when to ask questions, when to ask for help. I think sometimes, especially for small business, they have limited resources, really don't know who to reach out to, and the world is big, and it's scary out there right now. Who do you really trust and talk to?
Right. So like we do a workshop with some of our clients that we call future casting.
Okay.
And basically you're doing future planning with them and goal setting and milestone pieces, but we're doing it from a design standpoint. So we'll go out 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future. Where do they want to be in their market? And then we'll help build the plan for them backwards to set those milestones about how they get there. And what that covers for them is what they need for those individual pieces. So from an agency standpoint, what it does for us is it allows us to help them identify things they need us to build. So like, oh, well, if you want to do that, you're going to need online coaching platforms, or you're going to need marketing materials, or you're going to need to update your branding, or you're going to need a whatever campaign. So from the design standpoint, it helps flush out what they really need, and we can do more expansive, better projects for them. But for the client, it allows them to be more nimble. So when we do something like bump up against COVID, or bump up against anything else really, like you see this thing happening, but you have somewhere set up that you're going. So it's not as big of a deal. It's more like I was driving down the road and there was a roadblock and I needed to just route around it because I still know where I'm going. So you can adjust your plans and you can build the things you need to keep moving forward towards that goal. Whereas if you don't have those things in place, when you hit something like COVID, everybody just grinds to a halt because you don't know what do I need to do? I can't do what I was doing yesterday, and I don't know where I need to go. So they just stop. So anyone that we can get that kind of thing with, we're working with them around conceptually around where they want to go and the goals that they're trying to achieve, is really beneficial to both us and them.
I like that idea a lot, because instead of doing it when you need it, if you plan for it, you actually save a lot of time, sometimes a lot of money, because if you're trying to do it on the fly when you actually need to execute a certain project and you need to update your graphics, then obviously you're going to pay design firm like John for a rush work. Then if he help you plan it out right now for the next 5 years, obviously all the elements are ready. So when you hit that milestone, then those will be available. And you don't have to scramble and try to find the right solution when you need to execute those strategies.
Right. Or it will allow me as a designer to do something like go, Swire, my client is planning on doing this trade show a year from now. What are the great things that are emerging from a promotional product standpoint that we can put in place and we can get in the budget for them that's going to blow their customers out of the water when they see it, without them us pushing too close to that deadline and going, what can you turn around for me really quickly and really cheaply, because we didn't really plan well enough to do it.
Yeah, I love those conversations. I love clients with good planning, because some of them do reach like 9 months before they had a major event or trade show. So
Right.
those you could really save money, because I could maximize the time that we have down in production, and then you at the end save a lot of costs, and you can guarantee that your stuff going to be there when you need it. Then if customer sometimes calls 2 days before the event, yes, we could still do that, but then you're paying a lot of rush fees, overnights, and any planning will definitely benefit any business.
Right.
So at the end, my last question will be, how would you foresee your industry is going? Do you get, when you talk to a client, do they see things moving more digitally, or do you think that we're going to see some physical printing, or you see a mix of both in the future for graphic design and print?
Well, I think it'll always be a mix of both. I think right now, some of your traditional medias are better because other people aren't using them. Some of the ad networks are really quiet, so you can get more bang for your buck because you're getting better ad rates, or you're getting a print piece in somebody's mailbox and they're spending more time with it because they're actually there rather than picking up their mail as on their way out somewhere else. But I mean, ultimately, lots of pieces will go digital also. But from a standpoint of how do we pivot away from, until March, I had a brick and mortar store and I needed people in that physical space for my business. Like, so what do you do now? So is that, depending on who you are, that might be an online learning platform, or that may be, we need to add ways to sell products online and those kind of things. So I don't see print going away, that the tactileness of it and having those pieces in your hand and are so great. But at least for the short term, we're definitely going to see a lot of people moving to digital platforms, just as a way of, how am I keeping in touch with my clients? How am I allowing them to talk to me? How am I interacting with my employees? All of those pieces are going to have to go online for the short term.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for all the information, John. I'm putting your email down. So if anyone wants to have a deeper conversation with John, reach out to him. And then thank you again for coming on today, John.
Oh, no, thank you, Swire.
All right, take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.